Robinhood announced their new features, including a bunch of different banking stuff, as they try to move into becoming the everything all-at-once app. But the question is, with their cash delivery, will these Dashers just leave my envelope of cash on my front door like my current Doordashers do? Because that's a pain in the butt. But more on that in a second. Welcome to Cryptocurrents, the weekly podcast on crypto from people actually working in the crypto industry. No FOMO, no shilling, just talking about everything that's important to you that you should be clued in on. Think of us like your favorite leather coat. We go with everything, we don't overwhelm the outfit, and we keep you warm during those crypto winters. I'm your host, Vince, and today I'm joined by Kale from the Encrypt team.
What's up?
And Katya from Mew.
Hi, Vince.
Hi, guys. So, before we talk about Robinhood, let's talk about the tariffs. So as we're recording this, it's 11 o'clock Pacific on April 2nd. And today at 4 p.m. Eastern, Trump is going to be rolling out all of the new tariff stuff for the America First agenda. And in theory, this should have some ripples on markets. Spoiler alert. So talk to me kind of about tariffs and what this actually means for crypto and why you think it's going to affect crypto either which way it goes. Katya?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's called Liberation Day, I believe.
Yeah.
The name is crazy work, by the way.
Operation Liberation. And I guess nobody really knows exactly what it's going to be, but it's going to be like just everything everywhere all at once kind of tariff policy. I mean, we've talked
My
about
hands are
this
hot
before.
dogs. It's going to be exactly that.
We talked about it before that the crypto market does move with the traditional market, so we do still want to pay attention to what happens. Like, we're not separated from the market, and if anything, we're getting maybe more integrated as institutional investors are coming into the space, as now with the friendly policies, crypto is becoming even more intertwined with TradFi. So everything that the traditional market is feeling in terms of like apprehension of what these tariffs are going to do to the economy relates to us in crypto as well. And the fact that the administration is friendly to Bitcoin and, is maybe going to acquire more Bitcoin. Maybe we'll get into mining. Maybe we'll get into, eventually and support the industry that way. I don't think is enough to offset everything everywhere all at once tariffs. So, so that's kind of, I think, where we are. Like crypto and TradFi can be at odds sometimes, but this is kind of like united against one common enemy kind of deal. So we're all waiting for the same thing.
Kale, what are your thoughts on these upcoming tariffs?
To me, it feels like basically short term. As far as like crypto goes, it's going to be short term volatility because markets don't like uncertainty, and Trump, it seems like every week he's like adding or removing a new tariff. So like nobody really knows what's happening. And then even today, like the Liberation Day, the markets seem to be doing fine. Bitcoin's up a little bit. So I don't know. I feel like short term it'll be volatile because nobody knows what's going to happen in the long term. But I feel like long term it's probably good for us because in theory these tariffs are supposed to, like the consumer, the everyday person is in theory supposed to have more spending power, right? After the tariffs. And then it's like the companies take the extra load. Maybe I don't understand tariffs correctly, but
if tariffs worked correctly, yes. But what they'll do is they'll just pass that cost on to the consumer. So we're probably all going to be spending a lot more money because of these tariffs.
I see.
Yeah. But what is interesting to me, for one, is that, this announcement of what all these tariffs are going to be is taking place at 1 p.m., which is when the stock market closes. So we in the crypto sector, I think, since Katya pointed out, are in lockstep with the broader like macro economy of it all. We're going to have some insight as to how everyone is feeling about this and what tomorrow is going to hold when Wall Street opens back up. Yeah, there's after-hour trading for the stock market, but I think crypto is really going to give us a broader sense of how people are going to react tomorrow, which will be interesting, and we'll talk about that next week, which is a plug for you to subscribe, as always. I also think it's interesting because crypto is without borders, right? Good crypto is decentralized without borders, meaning you couldn't tariff it. So I think it's going to be a little silly and kind of shows you where we are in the cycle, that's something dealing with, taxing goods shipped from overseas is going to affect this market that has nothing to do with actual physical goods or countries or anything.
Yeah, honestly, like seeing all these tariff headlines, it feels like a game of Civilization happening like in real life. Yeah, and Trump just like pressed the trade embargo button on the whole world. So yeah. We'll see how it plays out. But
well, I think the reason crypto does, one of the reasons crypto does react to all this news and will continue to react to all this news is that you can't, as you say, Vince, I agree, you can't tariff good crypto, real decentralized crypto. It moves without borders. But the people buying crypto, I mean, there are bots buying crypto for sure at this point, and, institutions, whatever. But the people buying crypto are also the same people that are buying eggs, for lack of a better example at this point. And so that's the concern, right? Always that people who are under the influence of economic influence are
better than driving under the influence.
Who are under the influence of leaders who seem to be under the influence of something, but don't have the money to spare, right, for things like crypto, and that's where it comes in. That's where the tariffs on things like cars and stuff come into decentralized crypto, which is so free from all of these kinds of things, but not free from the human things, as none of us are.
Yeah, that's true. The way you phrased that was interesting because it shows you that we're still thinking of crypto as outside of normal money, outside of like the things that we have to do. So it's like, oh, it's a luxury good, which I guess for a lot of us in the West definitely is still.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of institutional stuff, Circle has officially confirmed their IPO for the next quarter. Well, this quarter, I guess. The quarter just started. And that's going to be great. That's the first IPO I feel like we've seen this year. We covered upcoming ones, and there were several that were slated, but Circle looks like it's going to be the first one we see. And, we talked about how this is nice because it shows that crypto's growing up and getting more in the like broader company sphere. What are your thoughts on this? And it looks like it's coming later this month, according to my notes.
Love to see it. I want to see more crypto companies IPO. I think we talked about this a few episodes ago. But yeah, I mentioned that I'm curious what other types of companies will IPO, because right now I think the only one we have is Coinbase. So yeah, it's cool to see. The more the merrier, in my opinion. Also, it's funny because it's like the Coinbase cabal is running crypto as far as like Circle and Coinbase. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm curious what the ticker is going to be too.
Yeah, that's always fun. That is, I can't remember what ticker O is, but that's definitely already taken.
Yeah, I looked it up. It's like some random realty place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I actually think it might actually be real estate dealing with hospitals and stuff. Now that you say that, I think I actually know that. Something. Yeah. I do like that for their IPO, Citi and JP Morgan are kind of the ones that are taking the lead on this, because I do think of kind of the dinosaur financial institutions, despite having the worst app ever, JP Morgan is kind of very bullish on crypto and very much leaning in on this. So I do like to see that. Katya, what are your reactions to the Circle IPO? Unchanged? Just hooray. We all get to wear blazers.
Do they get to ring the bell, right? When the market opens
I'm
up,
going to assume they will. You don't always get to ring the bell, but people usually schedule it so they can ring the bell.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how a crypto company shows up for something like that. Are they going to blend in? They're going to do suits or whatever.
They show up with the Vitalik rainbow shirts.
Or that's fun. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Circle is big. It's a money decentralized, semi-decentralized, sort of decentralized, not decentralized money printing machine, and so is it still true that Coinbase is still the only crypto company that company that did IPO?
So I know Exodus IPO'd. Technically, Robinhood could be considered a crypto company.
But crypto only. Like crypto first.
Yeah. There's probably some infrastructure runs, and there's certainly we're the mining, Bitcoin mining.
Yeah, I was going to say there's Bitcoin mining companies. Wait, you said Exodus IPO'd?
Yeah, they IPO'd a while ago.
Oh.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Ethereum and the Vitalik uniform, you brought this to my attention, Kale. So let's talk about the privacy pools that just are launching on Ethereum. Kind of give me the high level gist of what's going on here.
I'll do my best. It's very high level technical stuff, but it's
don't get technical because I will cry.
Yeah, I'll balance that line. But yeah, I mean, so basically this new protocol on Ethereum, I think it's a protocol. I don't think it's not its own chain. Like I said, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. Yep. But these legendary Ethereum devs dropped a protocol. I'm just going to call it a protocol called privacy pools. And the way it works is it's self-custodial, and it's like a self-custodial DApp, not a wallet, if I understand correctly. So in order to even interact with the DApp, first of all, you connect your wallet, and then after you connect your wallet, then they give you a seed phrase, and you need to use this seed phrase to log into the DApp every single time. Once you're in, you deposit a minimum of 0.1 ETH and a maximum of 1 ETH. The limits are temporary while they're battle testing everything. But once you're in, you deposit the ETH, and then your wallet passes through goes through a screening process, basically, that takes up to 7 days. And if your wallet passes the screening, then you're able to withdraw from the protocol privately, which is the part that I'm still having a hard time understanding, because if you withdraw, it's where are you withdrawing to? That's what I'm confused about. But anyway, if your wallet passes the screening, you can use the thing privately. And if you don't pass the screening, if your wallet is somehow associated with a Lazarus hack or a North Korean hacker group somehow, then you get put on the blacklist and you can't use the privacy features. And you have to withdraw publicly back to the wallet you deposited from with a feature called Rage Quit. So, yeah, it's fun. It's cutting edge. And last thing that I will say, it's endorsed by this popular Ethereum dev. His name is Vitalik Buterin or something. I'm not sure. I don't know. Some dude. But he heavily backed the project. So that's always a green flag. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes in the future. It's just privacy.
I do think this relates to what Noah said in last week's episode, how private is not necessarily illicit. And this is kind of a good example of trying to stop the illicit, where it's not just Wild West, Tornado Cash, do whatever you want. This is still trying to kind of control the flow and make sure that we're weeding out those bad actors, which I like to see. And I also like to see that they're battle testing it and really scaling it up from there without just jumping in the deep end.
Yeah, and if I understand correctly, it's a lot of the same devs that helped build Tornado Cash. So
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've moved on from Tornado Cash and they're like trying Tornado Cash 2.0 for lack of better words.
Mm-hmm. Katya, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, to me, the most interesting kind of part is the part that I guess we're still unclear about, is when they say withdraw privately. I want, like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, withdraw privately. Like, if I send from that dApp to another wallet and you can see that transaction on the blockchain, that is no different from just using a self-custodial wallet to self-custodial wallet, right?
Well, I know that there are ZK proofs in there somewhere.
Right, okay. So either there's some kind of different encryption applied, which in that case, I'm wondering, as you say, it's not a different chain. There are like networks that are specific for more encryption, ZK proofs, etc., like private networks. But if it's on Ethereum, then how? So I'm actually quite interested in the specifics because, and then the other interesting part to me is that it's kind of like you're KYC'd, and then after you're KYC'd, you have the privilege of transacting privately. But if you've been KYC'd, then somewhere that connection exists. So like, is it private or like, I'm kind of, in terms of privacy, in my mind, like there's still like a very strong dichotomy, like something is either private or it's not. I may be mistaken because I may not be up to date. Not, in fact, for certain, I am not up to date with the tech, with the encryption tech, with the private blockchain tech. So, but those are the questions that come to my mind. Like, I want to know, like, specifically, like, I want somebody to, like, explain to me exactly how it works, exactly what it means in terms of, like, what this private transaction means. And, you know, that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah,
I
totally agree.
I think as we all have like struggled to kind of understand exactly what this is very indicative of the need for more soft skill people in crypto to take these high level concepts that are super technical and break it down for the normal people of the world. Because this does feel like something that is important, and certainly in all of their language, they're like, let's make privacy normal again. But then normal people aren't going to be the ones that are using this right now. Like, it's so confusing in all of their language and everything they're doing. Even with the rage quit of it all is a gamer term. Like, this is...
Yeah, not true. It's definitely not like a huge thing right now, but I feel like if crypto's ever gonna be mainstream the way that we want it to be, like, this needs to be available for users, you know?
I think also maybe my biggest takeaway from this is that these are core like Ethereum devs that are occupying themselves with this concept, because something like Tornado Cash, 5 years ago or even longer, whenever they started, it was like, that's over there. Like, these people are building NFTs. These are building privacy, whatever. They're doing whatever they want. And Ethereum core is concerned with like the protocol, the merge back then, working toward the merge and all that stuff, the big stuff. But the fact that has more of a core team vibe indicates like interest in that concept, in that direction, which I think is interesting to me. And Vitalik has spoken a lot about what he thinks the big priorities are now for blockchain and for Ethereum specifically, and privacy is always one of the things he talks about. And so this is like actual, movement towards that goal. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, I mean, hopefully, I think this is going to be something that we all need to keep an eye on, because I do think there's a lot of interesting things that are going to come out of it. If they don't break it immediately. I mean, they're battle testing it for a reason, which means there's a chance it could break.
They've been breaking Pectra a bunch, so.
True. Very true. Well, speaking of breaking, let's talking about breaking up private banking, which is what Robinhood at their most recent City of Gold event touted that they're doing. And so the gist of this is Robinhood, which was once, just a stock trading app and then became a stock and crypto trading app and then became a stock and crypto and credit card app, is now adding a private banking wing to their feature set. And so this will include, savings accounts, family savings accounts, things like what they classify as perks that private bankers give you, like tickets to the Met or stuff like that. It was a fun presentation that just kind of shows how much of a smoke and mirrors company they are. They're all about the cool app and interface. And then after everything, they're like, Robinhood is a fintech company. All banking services are provided by this specific bank. And like I alluded to in the intro, one of the things that they're like, oh yeah, this is something that private bankers do, is you can have cash delivered to your doorstep, to you. And just like a Doordash, it shows you where your cash dasher is.
And then crazy.
And you have to like tip them and pay the fee, and then they're like, here you go, here's your $1,000 in an unmarked envelope. But this just shows how the broader kind of world is moving towards everything apps, right? Robinhood wants to be your everything app for all things money, whether it's crypto, cash, savings, credit card. And is there room for that in crypto? Is kind of the question I have, because I certainly don't have any crypto on Robinhood that they haven't given me, because they do frequently give away crypto, and I'm like, thanks, and then I just leave it on there.
But I need to get on that.
I know, man. All of these companies, Coinbase and Robinhood, and I think even Crypto.com, is like, do you want free crypto? Here you go. But yeah, I like to see the move towards everything apps for finance. I still just don't necessarily see how, in the current state of crypto kind of exists in that ecosystem for me. I kind of like my crypto separately, just because I always have to be in a different mindset for it. And maybe as we abstract it away and everything is powered by crypto, yeah, that makes sense to kind of bring it in. But I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on Robinhood's expansion into this realm? Is it silly? Are you going to get cash delivered, Kale?
Hell no, dude. That's so dumb. Like, honestly, there's so many ways that the cash delivery can go wrong. But I don't know. They're gonna do what they think is best for their company, I guess. But it's cool to see. I love that they're democratizing just like financial stuff. You know, because like even just like in 2019 or 2018, before Robinhood, it was much more difficult to invest in the stock market, do options trading. You know, and then Robinhood came on the scene. They're introducing all of these tools for regular users, regular people. Like us, who aren't like necessarily on Wall Street, people like us, we can do cool stuff now because of Robinhood. So I love it. Love to see it. Super cool. The only thing I disagree with that I think is dumb is the cash delivery. Like, I don't understand why they would do that. But
I mean,
yeah.
I was talking about this with my parents, and they were like, how much cash do you have in your house? And I'm like, oh, like $75, and I think most of it's in quarters.
Yeah.
For laundry. And that's
as a weapon, it's in a sock.
Exactly. Just whip it around.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a realm where I could see like cash delivery being like nice, but I mean, as someone who prefers to live cashless, that was a bizarre thing to me. But it's
it
fun
feels
to talk
very
about.
niche, right?
It does. It really does. Katya, I know you love cash. Are you going to have cash delivered to your house?
Well, I mean, I agree that cash delivery, I don't know. I'm what I want to know is, will they take my cash and give me Bitcoin for it? You know, the little white Bitcoin van? Like, is Robinhood going to bring that back?
Now we're asking the real questions.
That's kind of exciting. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember this conversation. This is kind of a little bit of a tangent, but still, like I had this conversation with somebody who was, found out that I work in crypto and was asking me questions. This was an older woman, like my mother's generation, and she was very intelligent. She worked in banking, so she was, she had a reference point, and she was very curious. And one of the things that she latched onto that she's like, you have, Bitcoin or ETH, and it's so volatile, like it goes up, like you never know what you have in your wallet, how much in terms of, fiat. And then you have these stable coins, which are, always, or at least when it works the way it's supposed to, it's always $1. And she's like, and it's, confusing. And I thought about it, and we had this then whole conversation about how in a crypto wallet, you can have like Bitcoin or ETH, which is more like a stock because it's volatile and it goes up and down. You can have USDC or USDT stable coins, which are more like cash, like fiat cash, savings account. You can have NFTs and things which can be like an asset, like a painting, or it can be your deed to your house or whatever it is, and it's all in the same wallet. Like you have these like wildly different assets, but all in the same place. And you can, trade within them in the same place, between them, like turn one thing into another in the same place, in the same wallet, because it's, you have swapping or whatever, sales, selling, buying. So a crypto wallet is already
an everything wallet.
Exactly.
We just need to bring everything on chain, and then the crypto solves this.
Yeah. So kind of like in crypto, if you could pay everywhere with crypto, whatever, if there was like 100% acceptance of that already exists in crypto because you can already do that. And I think with like, we talked about this in previous episodes with TradFi kind of trying to grab onto some of this stuff, and people talking about like putting all the stocks on chain so that the market never has to close at 4 p.m. Or whenever. I think we're kind of seeing a melding of those concepts, and I don't want an everything app like some of these like Chinese or Asian apps where like you chat and you buy and you like you do everything in one app. I'm not interested in that kind of app, and I think research has shown that at least the American public isn't either. Like they want an app for everything, but not an everything app.
Yeah.
But financially, I think there's something there because you can work with all of your assets, even though they all behave differently, but the liquidity within your assets, if you will, is extreme because you can just convert everything to everything and move, and you are not restrained by the exchange opening or closing or whatever. You can do it whenever. You can transfer to your family or friends or whatever. So I think there's something there, and I think there's a convergence happening right now between crypto being able to do that in the wallet, but not having the off-rails and on-rails into like where the payments are being accepted and whatever. And I think TradFi like Robinhood is catching on to that, and because they have crypto experience. So I've read about people saying like, will they be better at banking because they have crypto rails? Like, will that help them make banking better? And I think that's an interesting concept too. So that's kind of what I'm seeing.
That's such a good selling point. I'm gonna start using that when I'm talking.
I really like.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I'm gonna start using that when I'm talking to TradFi people about crypto. Is that like it's all your assets in one spot? It's you can have USDC, you can have ETH and Bitcoin, which are like stocks. You can have the NFT, which is like art assets. Like, such a good point. I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah. Now we just need to bring like the deeds to houses on chain in a meaningful way instead of stupid monkey pictures.
Yep.
I'll tell you how I really feel about NFTs in the next episode, because this brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. If you're on YouTube, drop us a comment. You'll find all of our Twitters in the show notes or the description box below. Make sure you check us out. Say hi on Twitter. Tell us what we got wrong. Tell Katya how right she is. She always likes to hear when she's right. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.